was owned by this ex-drug lord, so everything is like bulletproof. Yeah, it's really crazy.
Cool.
Yeah. And it has like crazy security, so it's like I feel very safe there.
Where is it located in all this?
It's like in like this family neighborhood.
Okay. In the penthouse or
Yeah, in the penthouse. Yeah.
I have to check that out. I only booked mine for 2 weeks. No, next one. No, it's not this one.
No, we're not alone.
Yeah, I'm staying until the 15th. Like,
Of January?
No, of December.
Oh, okay.
Leaving on the 14th.
Oh, and yeah, we're coming up with the I'll tell you about it later.
Where are you going after? You going to the States?
Yeah. So that's why I got my vaccine here. I was so fucked up. But yeah, I'm going to the States.
Which one did you do?
Huh?
Which vaccine?
Pfizer. So it's
cool.
pretty good. Yeah.
Which means you have to take the second shot.
Is the guy so bad?
Yeah, we're still there.
Probably after Christmas.
So Christmas here.
Yeah, Christmas in New York.
Ooh. Alright, so we've gotten to the end of the station and we're going to use a cable car from here to the first observation deck to have a view of communa 13 and learn a lot about communa 13.
We're gonna go together in the first cable car.
You don't want to be, you put the snowboards in and take you up. That would make it, that would seal the deal for me. Like if somebody near Bogota or something has something crazy now.
There was another guy.
Okay.
So what do you got? How many you got left? 1, 2. Good. Get off at the first station. Okay.
Very nice.
Whew, warm. Okay. So that's not too bad. Usually it gets like this.
Ale nawet szybko jest. Ja też mam tylko.
When did you move to Medellin?
So 15 years ago, I started coming and living here 3 months and then going back to the USA.
Chicago?
And then, yeah, Chicago. And then 3 years ago, I came to live full time. The idea was to go to Mexico City 6 months, Medellin 6 months, but then I just came to Medellin and I left.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. And I love Mexico City, but it's just something about Medellin. Yeah, like the people, I walk a lot, and whenever you leave the house, you're never alone because there's always people walking in the streets of Medellin.
So what's your favorite thing about Medellin?
Excuse me?
Do you go back to Chicago often or?
No, I tell everybody come
So
here.
it's like goodbye forever.
Yeah, I said, what's there for me there? You know, I'm like, if you guys want to see me, I have a extra 2 bedrooms. Book a cheap flight and stay with me. You got a tour guide. You know, there's not reason for me to go back to Chicago. There's other places around the world that I need to see before I go back to where I grew up.
So is this how most people here, this how they come
So
here?
the vast majority of people here commute with public transportation.
Oh. We're almost there.
Alright, so here the door's gonna open, we just get out.
Plataforma B, la meseta, todos los elementos. La meseta, todos los elementos.
In the world, San Javier was the most dangerous neighborhood in the city. Colombia had been in the civil war for over 50 years. There are more displaced people in Colombia than any other country in the world. So imagine, over 50 years of civil war, there's a lot of violence in the countryside. A lot of those families from the countryside flee and come to the big cities. And the people come to the big cities are the ones that built these homes. So the vast majority of the people that live in these communities, San Javier and all the other hillside communities around Medellin, did not buy their homes. They built their homes. And when they built their homes, it was with the children, with the teenage sons, daughters, mom and dad, and grandparents. So on Sundays when we host a tour in a different neighborhood called La Sierra, and we walk up into those steep upstairs into the top of the communities, we see families cooking food on the sidewalk and building their home. So it's really incredible to see. So 30 years, Medellin is the most violent city in the world, and I can imagine when you guys told your friends and family you were coming to Medellin, they were concerned that you're coming to Colombia because it's very dangerous. But that feeling and that sentiment is not specific to foreign tourists. A lot of Colombians feel the same way. About a month ago, I went to Poblado to pick up a Colombian family from Bogota to take them on the Communa 13 tour, and there was a guy like this big. And I asked, who is this guy? And they said, that's our bodyguard. So a Colombian family from Bogota who came to Medellin brought a bodyguard with them because the violence in Medellin is so ingrained in a lot of people's minds still that Medellin is dangerous. About 3 weeks ago, there was 2 women from Medellin, had lived in Medellin their whole life, and they wanted to sign up for the tour, and I told them that the tour was going to be in English. And they said, we don't care, we want to go with a group because it's safer. So the women that were born in Medellin, when we were here, they shared their stories with us, and they told us that they saw the blood in the streets, that they saw the bodies every single day, that they heard the car bombs blowing up, that they saw the aftermath of buildings that were blowing up that were leveled. So at that time, when you guys hear about like Pablo Escobar and the drug cartel, it wasn't a war from one drug cartel against another drug cartel. It was a war between the drug cartel against the state. And when it was a war, it was car bombs, and it was mass killing, blowing planes out of the sky, blowing the newspapers' offices, blowing government offices, shopping malls, parking lots, police stations, the DAS, which is like the equivalent to the FBI for the US. So it was an all-out war. So for a lot of these people who live in these communities, throughout Medellin, at one time, 90% of the communities, we have what we call invisible borders. The people who live in this community cannot come over here, and the people who live here cannot come over there. Because one of the main things is, for over 50 years, Colombians are trying to, they spend all their time trying to keep safe, right? Keep safe and eating. So when they came to these communities, nobody really knows each other. So a bunch of young boys take it upon themselves, say, this is my hood, this is my hood. Don't come over here, and then they start little fights over here. So they leave violence, come to the city, and they create more violence because they create street gangs. A lot of the street gangs are created to protect each other, right? And then they get into criminal activities. So how is it possible that we're standing here today, taking videos and pictures in San Javier? In 2003, there was a young man from Medellin. His name was Sergio Fajardo. Sergio Fajardo goes to the USA and studies at the University of Wisconsin to be a mathematician. When he comes back to Medellin, he declares he wants to run for mayor. And he campaigns on the idea that if he's elected, he will build the most beautiful libraries in the poorest neighborhood. He will build the most beautiful schools in the poorest neighborhood. He would invest in public transportation and infrastructure, stairs going up in the community in the poorest neighborhoods. Sergio Fajardo is a young guy. He's got crazy hair. He wears blue jeans and white t-shirt and gym shoes. The politicians of his era have the greased hair, the nice suits, the $100 ties, and every morning before they go into City Hall, they get their shoes shined outside before they step in. Sergio Fajardo, by miracle, gets elected as mayor of Medellin in 2003. His administration gets to work. They start building libraries, and they're not building little libraries. They're building huge libraries with library parks around in the poorest neighborhood. They're building schools in the middle of nowhere. A lot of the politicians like to build shiny new things in front of City Hall or in the tourist district or in the high social status districts and show them off. Sergio Fajardo is building schools in the middle of nowhere where no one can.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it. And I just know when it rains, they have tons of leaks. Like, the rooftops are being held on by bricks and stones.
In the distance, you see this gray building with the yellow up in the distance. So that used to be a women's prison. You got the women's prison in the San Javier Academy. So in August of this year, it was the inauguration. In September was the first time students.
Like $20. Like McDonald's in Toronto, like 17 to 20. Yeah.
Yeah, no. If you have about 4 hours, depending on the size of the group, depending on how much fun people are having. Gracias.
Wait, how high up are we walking? Because my legs hurt.
So here, Poblado, don't call your Uber from.
Wait, Poblado?
Like this, yeah. When you're in Poblado, don't call your Uber. Don't Google the museum where you're going.
No, el chorizo, la salchicha. Hay que ver.
Hay que preguntarle. Cuando yo labore en escaleras eléctricas, yo tuve la oportunidad. Porque allí hay unos espacios.
So real quick, so we're ready. Okay, people who own property in the Bronx in the 70s would hire people to burn their own properties down to collect insurance money because again, they gave up on the people, the community, okay? So in 1973, a young brother and sister decided to host a street party. So they invite everyone in the neighborhood to come to the street party, including the gang members, and they tell them, don't wear your jackets, don't wear your colors, the party is for everybody. So in 1973, August 11, the Bronx explodes. But it doesn't explode the way the news thought it was going to explode. It explodes with art, with music, with dance. The hip hop culture is born on that day. So the influence of hip hop culture, 40 years, comes around to Colombia, comes around to Medellin, and comes to Communa 13. So the most violent neighborhood in Colombia, just like the most violent neighborhood in the USA, the Bronx, Communa 13 in Colombia, is transformed by the hip hop culture. So you'll see a lot of street art. Right now it's Tuesday, there's a big match, so it's kind of quiet up here. But any other day, there will be break dancers here, there will be rappers here, and rappers all the way up, and performers. So we're gonna see who's out working today to entertain us, okay? So the reason I talk about this piece is because this best represents graffiti at its birth. Hip hop starts off like this. So in 1970, when you saw the New York subway, when you saw graffiti in the Bronx, that's what it looked like, raw. They was just learning how to use spray paint to express themselves artistically. So that is a representation of something that was back in the day in the 1970s in New York, and that's why I talk about it, because Sergio Fajardo and the mayors that had the influence, the young backpackers who came into this community, and the hip hop culture. A lot of things.
El mensaje que Dios nos da. Apenas para que le regale la camiseta.
So this work here is at a different level. This is like art right here. This isn't graffiti. This is just on a completely different level. So this is an homage to the people, the indigenous who founded the Abuda Valley in the beginning, and then that's like a representation of the spirit of the people when they first came and discovered the Abuda Valley.
So the indigenous name of the area is called Abure?
Yeah.
Got it.
And then they call it Nutibara. And then we have a hill in the middle of the city called the Nutibari Hill. Oh. So we have like 7 hills in the middle of the city that were sacred hills to the indigenous. So, real quick, I have to make a request. I have to take a group photo. Can we take the group photo here before it gets...
How long have you been in Colombia now?
2 weeks.
Ooh, how many cities?
What's that?
How many cities?
I've been up north, and then I'm working my way down south now.
Camera, so I gotta do that. Anyone want me to take a picture with their camera? Real quick. Coming up here, one person decides, hey, let's give him some water. Hey, let's give him something to eat. Let's give him some gifts. Let's give him some souvenirs. So it all starts slow. This is the work of, this is like 7 years, 8 years. The first 2 years when the tourists coming up, no one's thinking to serve them because they don't know, they still can't process that they're here.
good workout. Definitely need to get some agua. Whew. Are you used to this already?
No. Oh yeah, and I do it every day. And I don't ever get used to it.
Let me get some water.
Let's go up here.
Okay. There's water up there.
Hold on. There's usually a lady out here. I don't see her.
Let me just get here. Better to be safe than sorry.
Stop here.
Yeah, just get some water.
Escalators at the side of the mountain, so we're gonna ride the escalators 6 up. Okay? Are we gonna
Right here?
Welcome. Come here, please.
Don't be shy.
If you want, we can over here for the stairs. It's okay. So this is the VIP zone for you. It's okay. Okay, where are you going? Estados Unidos. Everybody else from the United States? No? Colombia. What else?
How much is it?
Okay.
How much is it?
Chicos, a la 1, a las 2 y a las 3. Chicas, ¿quién sigue? Por favor. Fotico normal, exacto. Solo normal. Chicas, poner la por favor.
How long do we have this interaction? 2 months? How long do we have this interaction?
1, 2 y 3.
Wild.
Con el mismo teléfono. Amigo. Hola, amigo. Bueno, chicos. Ese es el mural de los enamorados.
Oh, pictures?
No, yes.
Oh, sorry.
No problem.
Para fazer aquele
Girl, I don't get that.
No, when you get higher.
Isn't they wrapped downstairs then? Of course.
It's like less than the price of dinner.
Oh my goodness. Colombia. To be honest, when I was coming over, there was like, oh my god, it's okay. Everyone was like, oh my god, you're going to Italy? No way. Then I wanted to be really?
Alright, right here. Right here.
I'm pretty sure having a city view is not a thing in Colombia. In Medellin, it's not a. It's like
To clear out the left-wing communist rebels who were hiding in these communities, right? So that was what they said they're coming for. So they came in and the helicopters were shooting into the streets, into the homes. During the 4-day operation, over 80 people were killed. Once the Colombian military secures the area, it opens the door for a paramilitary group. The paramilitary comes in and occupies the neighborhood. When they occupy the neighborhood, they start taking away young men and young boys to interrogate them. They torture them and they kill them. So that happened in 2002. So for almost 20 years, 100 families in this community have not heard from or seen or know anything about their loved ones who were taken away in the middle of the night by paramilitary. So the Colombian government is the one that caused the operation. The Colombian military comes in, clears the area, and then it allows the paramilitary to come in. In Colombia, when they talk about violence, when you see the movies and when you read the books, they talk about Pablo Escobar, they talk about drug cartels. But in reality, the real violence in Colombia is political violence. The 50-year civil war is not Pablo Escobar, it's not drug trafficking, it's politics. And politics is a deadly game in Colombia. In Colombia, we've had 5 presidential candidates assassinated. So now imagine in your country when someone wants to run for president and then they have an adversary and the guy who's the president doesn't like the other guy, they send to get killed. That's politics here in Colombia. So the young mayors here, every now and then, the families hold candlelight vigils at City Hall. And they try to put pressure on the mayors to try to find out what happened to their loved ones. But those mayors don't have the power. They don't have the founding. They don't have the funds, and they don't have the paramilitaries to back them up like the government does.
oh yeah, it's the
So
government.
what happens when the family puts pressure on? down. They've been drinking. They don't want to leave. They're like, "Can we take an Uber? Can we take a taxi?" And we're like, "Yeah." So on the weekends, if you guys are here for a month or for another week, come up here Friday night, Saturday night, and drink it, because there's no other vibe anywhere in the city, anywhere in Colombia, like right here. And before, the tourists, they used to be coming up and come down. When the Colombian families started coming up, they wanted beer, they wanted food, they wanted to sit down, they wanted to sing, they wanted to dance. And they started while we were just sitting and talking, all of this, they were able to find a place to sing. They come up 15, 20 days. They all eat.
Wow.
Now the tourists, they feel that vibe.
That's a
They're like, they want to be part.
No. Where?
Especially here. They got like 40 different craft beers.
Nope.
On the weekends when they have the DJ, it's just a
Do you see it? Do you see it?
Yeah, what's that?
Oh, he was there. Okay.
And they're so anti-everything, but because money and reputation is so nobody, so like in house. And it's all of like family and people like and the families is great. Something, isn't it amazing?
Yep. Why did you come with your drone? Yeah, why did you come with your drone? Okay, fair point. It happens, shit happens.
So here, real quick. So when we were at the cable car,
Sí, de igual manera ya pues acá ya termina de una pregunta y ya. Chicos, pues él empieza con mucho entusiasmo. Del 2016.
Kind of like what they did with this place.
so real quick, convert them into art. Also, they who wants to make a donation, make a donation.
Charlie, Tall has it, man. I think one of the most important attractions about Communa 13 has to be the people. Seeing the people dancing in the natural elements is one of the things that attracts people over here as opposed to going to the posh spots. And to see how they've been able to transform a ghetto to this hub, it's an amazing feat, I must say.
So now we'll see a lot of little shorties.
What are shorties?
Little kids.
Oh, okay. Oh God!
And,
Please don't
a lot of
get
times
dark.
they try to grab onto us. Give me money. Money. And like I said, sometimes people break down like, "Oh, I love the cute kid," but if they're gonna,
One of the kids is like
they're
super
making
cute.
money. Oh, the 17? Oh, 17-year-old kid knows better than that. It's just the little kids that know a little better. You know, give me money. They give you the cute face, and then you're like, ah, you got me.
Okay,
You got
take
me.
it. How much does he want? 10 grand. Okay, you can have it.
No, just a little.
Ay,
change.
amigo!
Hey, come on. Come on. All right, yeah. I scolded them the other day because they do a dance and it's inappropriate for kids their age.
Twerking?
Yeah, like that. And I said, don't be doing it. You gotta teach them to dance. So I heard that it's a TikTok dance because other kids know it.
Oh yeah, okay. If all the kids know it, most likely to.
Because first I was like, who's teaching them that? And then one of the guests on the tour said, that's a TikTok dance. I said, no wonder. They're watching TikTok
Yep.
and practicing those moves.
So what makes housing? Because everywhere in the city has a good view. So what makes housing expensive?
What makes what?
Housing expensive. Because knowing the States, if you have a good view, it's
Right,
higher.
okay, so
But everyone,
here-
look at the view of the ghetto. Look how amazing it is.
So here in Medellin, they said that the poorest people have the best views in Medellin.
Yeah,
And when we get people from California, they're always like, this is $1 million view in
Yeah,
California.
it's just like multi-million dollars.
Yeah. And this is not just this neighborhood. Multiple neighborhoods throughout the city, throughout the valley, high up in the mountains, are spectacular.
Wow.
Alright, so I like this group. We're moving together pretty good. The group
yeah.
I had on Sunday was terrible. But it wasn't
you
so
mean,
much.
you mean different characters.
Yeah, but it was insane. You can't. Here I can see everybody. I just turn around, I see them all. I can count them. I can count the heads real quick. Suddenly you can't count heads. So all this is relatively new, about 3 months old, this walk here.
Nice.
The government is
3 months old?
Yeah, the government is setting up so tourism extends into this community.
Which can you imagine?
And then all these families are all getting set up really quick for business.
So impact.
Oh, and then the game.
Are we almost at the top?
Yeah.
Okay.
Masi, ¿qué más? ¿Cómo estás? Sí, ¿qué más? Alright, so here's the top. Bust it out.